You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
And the man he holds no punch. I am the man that everyone fears.
You are now entering the vicious circle.
You are facing a fuel-injected suicide machine!
I'm the man. When I walk, the ground shakes. I am the master. I am the ruler of the world. They have been waiting below the surface. Shake the earth beneath the giant. Shake the earth beneath the giant.
And welcome to the Vicious Circle. Sid, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing, Rob?
Good. Look at that. We're social distancing and have our masks.
Well, I've got a cough. There's a chance if I have it, I would be a super spreader because I'm just that. I'm bigger than everybody else, right?
You're that
So-
awesome. Yeah.
I'm just it. But no, just kidding. I feel safe with you, Rob. No, I do have a little bit of a cough, though. However, oh man, how's everybody doing today?
Looks like they're doing good. Jeremy was the first one on. Hello, Robin. Sid, how's everything today? Oh, Jeremy said cool NWO shirt, Sid. But it's not.
You what?
He said cool NWO shirt.
Well, let people guess for a while, Rob.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick before I forget this, last week we were talking about people being on, Mount Rushmore or Mount Stupid. We forgot someone after we got off the show. One person you'd have to put up there would be Ron Simmons, the first black, I believe, world champion. We've got about that guy for sure. And so also, people are listening. If you have any wrestling information, because I don't get to see enough of it, any scoops or what's going on, either company, I'm seeing a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit. And if someone thinks someone done something really dumb this week, let's hear about it. If someone done something really smart in wrestling business, let's hear about it. And if somebody wants to admit they've done something dumb, tell on yourself. We'll talk about that too.
You bet.
I'd like to dedicate today's show. Excuse me. There's a reason I'm coughing. There's stuff I've done about it. It's to all the women out there today. They work so hard and do all these things, and one of the reasons that I've been on my feet all day making chicken noodle soup. So hats off to women in the cooking field and stuff like that. I want to give out a list out a few songs. A couple of the women, because it's we're dedicating today to women, the show to women. There's a song called Come On. It's by Lucinda Williams. I think that would be the national anthem for all women across the country. You listen to it, and if anybody listens to it, have you heard it, Rob?
I heard a beginning of it when we talked earlier.
Okay.
Haven't heard the whole thing yet.
All right, so it's pretty cool. There's a song by Bonnie Raitt. Bonnie Raitt. John Prine wrote it. John Prine was a folk singer, really, really good. Just passed away. Excuse me. I started trying to get my dogs outside. John Prine was a folk singer, but maybe the grandfather of folk singing that I know it, and most of us know it. But he wrote a lot of songs for a lot of female artists, and one was Bonnie Raitt. And it's called either the Montgomery Angel or the Angel Comes from Montgomery, something like that. If you can listen to the version with John Prine and her together, do that. It's a better listen. It's a song about women, just hard workers, how much they do, about how little patience they have sometimes too with their own men. But a really good song, lyrics. it's for the working woman, stuff like that. Then I've got a couple. I want all the guys. If listen to these two. These two artists are really great. Everybody's heard of Bonnie Raitt. A lot of people probably haven't heard a lot about Lucinda Williams, who I don't know, it was 10 years or so. She had in Rolling Stones, the album of the year was called Four Wheels on a Gravel Road. Really good. Excuse me. Compare her songwriting to Bob Dylan. Pretty good. And she's got one called Fruits of My Labor. It's really cool. A really cool song. She's got a bunch of them. I just want to give a couple songs. And then I want to, and these are songs no one's probably heard. You go, I never heard of that. That's why I'm saying it,
Yeah.
There's one from John Prine who wrote the song for Bonnie Raitt, and he actually wrote this song for someone else. And I know everybody listening loves Merle Haggard. So if you know Merle Haggard and you haven't heard of John Prine, he wrote a song for Merle Haggard, which this is a better version. And I love Merle Haggard. Okay. It's called Clay Pigeons. It is, it's just about how life is. Listen to that. Anybody listens to it, I think you appreciate it. We're getting feedback. I like to hear that. Then there is, this is one too. It's all this music too. When most of this is what I consider retro. It's past, present, future. That's what I consider retro. We won't go into all that, but it's really cool stuff that people from like the song I'm going to tell you right now is called what is it called? Silver Rider. Silver Rider. It's from Robert Plant. It's out of a band with a band called Band of Joy, and it's what he did. He lives in Nashville, has a home in Nashville. Took some country artists and took some of the songs, like Led Zeppelin songs, and made them into country songs or country version songs, stuff like that. Now, Silver Rider is a really hipped up country song when you listen to it. Cool lyrics, a little slow, but again, take a listen to it. These are new things I'm pointing out. Those are just a few right now. So if you get a chance, listen to those, get back with me, and we'll talk about it. Let's see what else. Rob, you got anything you'd like to talk about while I'm looking?
Real quick, I titled the show Checking the Streak because you made some predictions last week and thought we'd check in and see how your predictions went with this week. But we've already got one positive. Last week, Cheryl asked you, she goes, what will my Monday be like? And she messaged back, hey, Sid, you were right. You predicted that this past Monday would be a good day at work for me, and it was.
Wow, that was awesome, man.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
So how did your week of predictions go?
Oh, real quick. One more song.
Oh, okay.
This is Dwight Yoakam. He took an album. It's called Swim Pools and Movie Stars. He took a song by Prince called Purple Rain. Now, it is a really, real cool version of that. That's a real cool song to listen to. Now, these are all off my albums back here. Somebody had asked me a while back, what do you got on your albums? So I'm just passing some of this, stuff along.
Nice. Very nice.
What did you ask me, Rob?
We were going to talk about your streak. I'm going to put in Val real quick. Val said, hey, Sid and Rob from Atlanta. I'm at work at MBS for the game.
Hey, girl, way to go, man.
Yes.
Awesome.
So how did your streak go this week for predicting games?
Well, I lost. Well, on the prediction side of things, the Arkansas game I talked about, now because of the smartphone, that game's not till next week. Because I looked for it all day Saturday, and I found out that's what the deal was. But we will go back a little bit on certain things I have called. I said the World Series, the Dodgers would be there. I said, Yankees. I said a long shot one time to someone, the Astros, but that didn't matter. The Dodgers are there. It's 2-2. Thing about World Series, you're going to, like last year, I thought that, the Astros would, beat the Nationals. Nationals is my third best team. It's first at St. Louis, then Atlanta, then the Nationals. And still, I stuck with that and got beat. What happened to that? That went 7 games. And a good World Series, everybody wants to see that go 7 games. So you really, only way to win that is just stick with it and hope it goes 7. Your team wins, something like that. Anyway. So right now I'm 2-2 on that, 2 out of 4 because of the World Series. Now, actually, I'm 3 out of 5 because I picked them to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got that. Really, the one game I said to you, Rob, the night on not with everyone else, It was a long shot with Iowa State. This is what's cool about college football, everyone. It was Iowa State against Oklahoma State, Big 12. And it was 3.5 points towards Iowa State. Now, I know from history that Iowa State and Iowa too always play everybody really good at home, but this wasn't at home. So it was again, a close call. So I took Iowa State and got 3.5. Came down to the last minute and something. They got down, got the touchdown, brought it within 3, wasn't able to win the game. So I won by 0.5 point. And that's what I tell everybody about these things. You gotta. Now I told you in the beginning too, Rob, that was a long shot.
Yeah.
That means they were away. They're not really that good away. 3.5 points isn't a lot. Oklahoma State is known to run it up. They're the Cowboys. But again, that was my long shot. So I did well on that one.
Nice. We'll get to some of these real quick. Rory said, "Greetings from Birmingham, England, Big Sid. Hope you're well, sir."
Oh, thank you, Roy.
And Andy, he said, "Just saying hi real quick. In Arkansas right now with family. Have a great show."
Oh, thanks, man.
We'll get him on here soon. I know he's got some family stuff he's working with right now. So he did get hold of me and everything's looking better.
Okay, good.
Yes. So Jeremy did say cool NWO shirt, but never got it right. He said JWO shirt on Sid.
Maybe.
We'll find out. Jeremy's got a question for you real quick. What are your thoughts on tonight's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
Well, that's the thing is, guys, I haven't seen I don't watch a lot of the TV. I just don't have time. I don't. That's why I'm saying let's talk about things. So that's something I can't talk about because I don't know who's in it. Now, what we know, what I think I know about Hell in a Cell is that's usually a match. It's probably the king of all hardcore matches, right? So that's usually why it's probably titled Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So it'll be something that everybody will be interested in. I haven't seen one in a long time. The last time I saw something, a gimmick match, was the ladder match, and it seems to have lost a little bit. So we'll see how it goes.
Dean's got one in here. Hey, Sid, how are you doing? Thank you so much for my signed stuff through the asylum. Awesome.
Oh,
Harry is trying to open the signed Galoob figure. That's his son's name, Harry.
Hey, Harry. Hey, Dean.
Now I'll remember forever.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy did say, though, I can hear you coughing. I don't want you to get sick, buddy.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Let's see here. Gabriel says, I wish I could see Sid in person, my number one favorite wrestler.
Thanks, man.
That's kind of nice, yeah. Joey says, what's going on, Sid? I used to see you working out at the French Riviera Spa at Poplar Plaza in Memphis. Hope all is well.
Thanks, Joey. That's been a long time ago, Poplar Plaza. I hope they're still open. They were having a really tough time. The last French Riviera I was working out at was the one on Union, and it was all new stuff, but they shut that down. And what happened was they couldn't pay the rent, and that person they were renting it from took all their equipment, so that they lost that whole gym.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, gym business is tough, especially if you got what is that? Planet Fitness opened up next to you for memberships at $2 a month. You can't beat that.
No, actually, no, you can't. There's one like that in Canada called Fit for Less, and it's the same kind of thing. So
hey, speaking of the food, too, Rob, I waited till we get on the show tonight. Everyone, if you see my Instagram where I'm posting this stuff I'm eating, Rob had enough nerve to tell me, like, yeah, it all looks the same. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, Rob.
How did it look the same? I thought you were sending me the same picture every day.
Oh, now my food's on there. Is anybody ever asking any questions about that? Want to ask questions? Always ask, what are you eating? If you want to know, see what I cooked on there, how I did it, stuff like that, get back with us.
Absolutely. Because it is good stuff. It really is. I know I rib you a bit, but it's good stuff.
It is, man. Just takes a little time sometimes to do that. For instance, if you see like a bowl of beans on there, or say a bowl of soup, it didn't start there. It started, making chicken stock, taking the meat on the grill, smoking it before I put it in the beans. It's a lot of work to it, but it's really a lot of payoff. I've lost 50 pounds. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm going to show what you were doing today, but I'm going to show the lead up to show exactly what you're talking about. Okay. because
All right.
that's what you did today.
That was the end product.
Yes, but it started with the vegetables,
Right.
with the chicken, getting
Well,
everything.
that's right there is for the dogs, and that was the leftovers in the. Actually, I did put livers and hearts in the chicken soup.
Oh, did you?
Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah. Now that right there is my cast iron skillet baked chicken I cooked, and what I'll do, I'll have a piece of that, then I'll have a bowl of that soup, and I won't have to have anything else.
Nice. But yeah, this is what you were building all day today.
Now, how I did that too, I started with 3 whole chickens, cut them up, put in there, made my own chicken stock, for hours. Then with the chicken I parted up, I did it in the oven with that cast iron skillet, baked it, and then then I put like, I don't know, 6 or 8 boneless chicken breasts in there. I put 3 onions, head of celery, mushrooms, everything, so that is some really good stuff.
Where was the other one you sent? Was it this one right here?
Now that's the cast iron skillet, and now you can find that recipe right there. Now he hasn't showed me a plate of cornbread.
I don't have that. Yeah.
Anyway, so you can look on it's called cookcountry.com, I think. It's called the skillet, iron skillet baked chicken and blueberry cornbread. And I did some of that too. Of course, Rob didn't get that on there. Really good stuff.
That's what I have. Someone on Instagram, when you posted that picture about your meal that had the blueberry cornbread, someone said it looked like chocolate pie.
No.
If they're listening, that was the blueberry cornbread.
Yeah, it's blueberry cornbread.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Just going to bring up Cheryl's question. Cheryl Scott asked, who taught you how to cook?
Now, honestly, all this stuff, what gave me the start in cooking was working on a farm. There was this lady did our lunches for us, and she did a lot of good, just meat and vegetables. And I always hated vegetables, until I tasted how she cooked like cabbage and squash and stuff like that. And like now, it was her cornbread. Her name was Leela Mason. Her husband was Joe Mason. I told the story one time. He's the one that saved B.B. King's life.
Yep.
Anyway, I won't go into that, but really cool. It's just a big part of my life, Leela and Joe Mason. Anyway, she taught me how to do that. Now I added the blueberry thing because I saw the recipe on that show. Now the cast iron skillet was on that show too, but that's how she would do chicken on top of the stove. So it's about the same way. But that's how I learned a lot of my cooking from a lady named Leela Mason. Really great lady.
Nice. Here's our friend Lori. She's back. Hey guys, food looks great. Always love hearing about your nutrition tips, Sid.
Thank you, Lori.
Let me see here. Ryan Haskell says, damn, looks great. Love soups and stews this time of year. An easy way to get your veggie or eat your vegetables.
It really is, man.
Yeah. Where was the other one that I saw? Here it is. It's pretty cool that you make delicious chicken soup and that you're talking about right now. I already told you, I tend to half-ass things. I get the spaghetti and I get the jar of sauce, and that's my meal. I don't normally. Every once in a while, I'll fancy up the sauce. I'll put the meatballs and stuff, but that's how you do everything.
I do. I try to do it right, man. Now, thing is, that right there, too, this is why I've been able to lose 50 pounds and keep it on. Well, it's not, I've got the willpower, but again, I've got something really good there. I've got that where I throw it in a bowl real quick. Notice I don't have a lot of noodles. I'll make my noodles as I go along. Actually, I'm going to make some wild rice and use that as my base. And so right there, it's just all natural stuff. Like I said, it's getting cold. It's good that time of year. Chicken soup is supposed to have some real healing properties. I sort of need that right now. But no, it's just good. Something different. Also, my wife lost her niece this past week, and they had the funeral Saturday. So I made a lot of that stuff for them as well. Like to say, hope she's doing okay out there.
Joel Diz put in here, blueberry cornbread, yummy. Yeah.
No, it is, dude. Now it's got the recipe for it on that show is called for a little more of flour, sort of like cake cornbread. but it is really, really good. And then at the top of it too, you do a honey and butter mixture and just a slight dash of cayenne pepper, and it really
Cayenne pepper?
boom. Yeah, just a touch.
Really?
Yeah,
See, I wouldn't have done that with cornbread, but now I'm interested.
right. See, well, you got to do blueberry cornbread. You got to be just cornbread.
I got to just make cornbread and I'll be happy. JD's got a question for you. With Halloween
Right.
Havoc on NXT Wednesday night, what was your best match from there? Was it you versus Sting in 90 or you versus Goldberg for the US title in Halloween Havoc 99? His favorite was you versus Goldberg.
You know, they were both pretty good. I go back to the one with Sting, and I was just so young in my career. Everything was so that sounds stupid, innocent. It was just again, it was just showing up and having a good time and all that stuff like that. And time I got to the Halloween Havoc with Goldberg and the two, Sting was just a lot of fun to work with. Not that Bill wasn't. Bill was really over as well. And anybody's over, it makes for an easy night. So it always worked fun working with Bill too. But no, I'd still stick with the one with Sting.
And that's going to answer Dean's question too. He says, "What's your favorite match that you've been in?" So, here's Joey following up. That place has closed down out of business, and all locations have closed a few years ago. The what was it called? Plaza.
Oh, the French Riviera.
Yeah, French Riviera. There we go.
Oh wow, man! I hate that.
Here we go. This is from Nurset Nussi. Met Sid in Liverpool for the Love of Wrestling in 2019 at the lobby, and we talked till 4:00 a.m. Great stories. What a great man. Very intelligent and humble. Hope to meet him again one day. Best wishes.
Hey, man, it's good talking to you. It's good. Thanks for the shout out.
Remember chatting till 4 a.m?
Yeah, well, there was a bunch of us down there. I think, Jim Duggan was down there. Him and Doug and his wife had gone out to eat. The lady, there was two ladies that worked there. Marty Jannetty, Virgil. It was a pretty big. That's all we had to do before we was going home the next day. Sit there and bullshit.
Gotcha. Joel did say here, my condolences, Sid.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Oh, and here is one from Sean. How many meals do you eat a day when you're getting in shape, Sid? And what do you usually make?
Hey, stupid! I just showed you what I'm making.
Yeah, chicken noodle soup.
No, no. What I try to do is honestly, this is what you saw is what I call preparation. Now, really, I did make really 90%. A lot of that what you saw to give to Sabrina, for they got people over and stuff like that, and she loves that stuff. But now, for instance, I'll eat that too. But now, what you saw is I could do, like I said, I could take a bowl of that chicken noodle soup. Now it's got probably 60. Well, I've got it's all chicken, so I put noodles to it. I put my own noodles and rice to it. So you got what I want in that. Then I can have one of those pieces of chicken, and that's all I need. Or I can have a piece of that chicken, or say or two, and one of those pieces of that cornbread. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's already done. So I don't have to do anything when I take that cornbread, slice it out, put a little of that honey butter on it, put it in the oven for just a second. Same with the chicken. Then pull it out, eat it, whatever I want. So it's all prepared. So I will eat it just like that. Now, what I have been doing too is do sweet potatoes like this. Cook a bunch of sweet potatoes. Same thing. Cook your chicken how you want. Now, the reason I'm cooking this chicken now like this is because some fried chicken is because I was just, man, baked chicken and fish. I just don't know if I can do it. I'm fixing to be able to get back into that. But again, I'll try to say cook enough meat where all I have to do is bing. So, in the perfect world, I'm starting to work out pretty hard now. I'll eat 4 meals a day. Sometimes I'll start with that, or I think I'll start with my oatmeal almost all the time now. So start with the oatmeal, and then, bang some of those meals in. Get an idea what you want. I try to keep, my calories down to, 150, no more than 200 a plate. That way it gives me plenty of room to do what I want. Now I've been cheated a little bit. Rod knows that I drink a lot of fruit juice, but that, just do it like that. Keep an eye on it.
Fruit juice, you say?
Yeah, fruit juice is my weakness, man.
It's funny you mentioned that. I happened to upload another picture.
Uh-oh.
I showed you this. My buddy Joe, who drew the comic book for us for CTN,
Oh, yeah.
he did this. Boom. There is Sid.
Wow. Yeah.
Greatest.
Yeah.
ever.
And I know me and Rob talk too much. This is a testimony to that. But no, the truth is, if I wasn't to drink fruit juice, when I don't drink juice, I'm drinking too much Sprite. If I don't do that, everyone, we could all lose weight. And if we're dieting, if people want to ask questions about that, when you first start dieting too, don't try to take everything out at one time. Take a little thing out of once in a while. And what happens is you're going to be like I'm right now. I'm burned out. And so don't get in a hurry to get there. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to reach a goal, no matter what your goal, how many pounds you're trying to lose. But you got to stick to it to get there. So again, take one thing at a time. Don't get in a hurry to get burned out, really what I'm trying to say.
And here's a couple examples. I was able to get these put in. Here's the one meal you sent. It's got the sweet potato, the steak with some potatoes. It looks like potatoes.
Yeah, it's a sweet potato and scallops.
Oh, scallops. There we go.
Yeah.
And then there was this one. And this is the one from Instagram that shows that what someone thought was chocolate pie. But that's the blueberry cornbread.
Right. And I think that's my beans.
And then just so everybody can see it, there is the blueberry cornbread.
Yeah.
Hey,
when we were talking about predictions a while ago, Rob, let's go back to that real quick.
Sure.
I really, Rob, we talked about this. I predict a lot of things, not just the election and not just football and baseball, but I can usually look at people out there and say who's pretty good talent, has got a good future. And I've already talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to bring up him again today. Derrick Henry, who's last time I was watching, same deal. They were just getting their brains beat in. Tannehill, and he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong, but when it's just Tannehill, there's nothing happening. So they're down big time. Second half starts up. They start getting Derrick Henry. He starts getting the defense down. Next thing I know, they're within 3 points, and I'm on here doing this podcast. But this is my point: is that I said this at the beginning about him. If given a chance, this would happen. Now, Louis Riddick, guy on ESPN, I think he does Monday Night Football. Him and a couple other guys are just jumping on the bandwagon like Louis Riddick. About Ryan Tannehill, blah blah blah. Well, he was okay. He's a good player, but not a great player. And their thought is this, and this is work like this in football, especially now. Football is just like college football. They run off the run pass option deal, right? So, you don't. A good passing game doesn't set up a running game. A good running game sets up the passing games because we have to come up forward to defend the run enough. Those guys, your receivers, at some time are going to be able to get past those people, and that's what set up. It don't work the other way around. You know what I mean? If your defense is back and you run the ball, then the guy has a better chance of getting downfield. So it goes the opposite. Running game creates a good passing game. And it's proving it right now. Before I left in there, and they were only favored by 1 point. I was shocked. I thought it'd be even, or Pittsburgh would be favored, but Tennessee was actually favored 1 point. Now I don't bet on pro games because it's just not all teams are playing like the Titans. They're really trying. Not all NFL teams try all the time. But this is but that's what I'm saying. Louis Riddick and all these guys, just stop that. Derrick Henry is the guy, man.
Yeah, because he was the one we were talking about last week, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But it's funny how just all of a sudden this kid gets a break and starts doing good. And I know what the point was. Well, where was Derrick Henry before Ryan Tannehill got there? Well, what it was, he was sitting on the bench because there was an old coach with an old philosophy saying, well, we're going to stick with the old guy, which was DeMarcus Murray. But once he got out of there, the next quarterback, this Rabel, comes in. He says, okay, hey, hold on. We got the Heisman Trophy. He won a national championship. He's 300 pounds. He's faster than all of the backs. Why don't we get him the ball? And look what happened. He's got a couple 200-yard games, so hats off to Henry, man.
Okay, let me get back up here. Oh, here it was. Dean, Dean said again, I introduced Harry to the Skyscrapers the other day. He loved the match. It was a Halloween Havoc versus the Road Warriors. He says, I myself didn't realize how good your theme music was as the Skyscrapers. Very catchy.
That was, I think, China White from the Scorpions. I came up with that. Hey, speaking of wrestling too, I'm gonna forget this. Eric out of California out there challenged me to do stuff creative. Eric, up your nose with a rubber hose. Start off with that, okay?
That's
That's
creative.
where that's going to get you. All right, so now I think what he was talking about, make up something cool. Now I told Eric this, and if he said he came up with this, he's just a lying Californian. California USA IO, whatever. It was a thing called, I made it up, it's called the Hill Biz. And it's things that, like myself, a hill that really knew like ways to get over. And that was sometimes meant you had to be like a opportunist, and I would always come up with them. And I think Joy a couple of weeks ago on our show asked me something, and I gave him my opinion about it. And I think it was a Hill Biz. We won't go into it, but as we go along, if something like that comes up, I will point that out, and I'll make a comparison. Like there's a couple ways to give the Hill Biz, or say do this, and this is you're giving someone the business. Like say for instance, I told the story about Sting, where it sort of upset him one time, where we were in Jacksonville. We did the spot where headlock takeover. I nipped up, caught him with a choke slam, and the people went crazy. That's when they were cheering me. He got a little upset about that, but again, I had to do that, and that was the Hill Biz. And for Sting that night, that was a hurting thing. But still, the Hill Biz, that's Hill Biz, getting yourself over. Again, an example like when I did that live interview with Sean on the podium, I knew I was going to win the belt, and I did that little comment, hey, he said, blah, 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 blah. I said, hey, man, you forgot something. This is a big man sport. This, everybody, So again, that was the Hill Biz, or sometimes it's a cool, those are cheap shots. Now, the one with Sting wasn't a cheap shot. The one with Sean was a little bit, Cool thing about Sean, he always called those spots nip up spots. So I didn't have to do that on my own with him. But I'm trying to think of something else. Say, for instance, I've told the story before too about how to grab a hold without grabbing a hold. Remember that, Rob, where someone's crawling away, I'm stalking them, and I'm doing this, and the people start going crazy. To me, that's a Hill Biz. I'm giving the people the business without doing anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the Hill Biz. And Eric is, I've told him I need to write a book about just that alone. The Hill Biz deals. So Eric, until you think of something creative, better than that, keep your mouth shut and a nose up your hose.
There you go. Now,
speaking of Eric too, real quick, him and Barry and Linda are on that side of Mount Stupid Rushmore there, where they can't get themselves off until they do some better things. Now, I want everybody to sort of think about this. It's sort of like the movie It Was a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart, and it was a Christmas movie. I don't think it really meant to be one, but there's a character in there named Clarence. He's an angel, and he can see things, and he can make things happen. He can take people, show them maybe what would happen if they weren't alive, and if they would do better things. Because George Bailey was the guy he was following around and saved his life. He was a good guy, but he tried to kill himself. So anyway, we got Barry, Linda, and Eric out there. Well, of course, I'm Clarence. I'm sort of hovering around like an angel. Real quick, give me a reminder before we start this. Flashcards. Give me Barry on the left.
Barry on the left. Dun. Hang on, I got to get to the right picture. Bing.
All right, and then give me Eric on the right, and give me in the middle.
This one?
No.
Oh, sorry.
That's it right there. House on fire. What that is, everyone, that's our next generation. That's where we're going to find the next really president, somewhere on that picture. And what this is all about, see how peaceful the protesting is? That is about climate change. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but this is something people don't have to hate me so bad to have to attack my family. So again, this is about climate change. So this is what I stand for, everyone. Not, again, I've always said that I'm for both people. I'm not for both people. I'm against both people. I'm for both views on both sides. And if I said I could even accept Mr. Fitzgerald now, even though I hate him, but he is, he's out there. He's not just carrying himself to the poll. He's carrying votes to the poll. Hate him or like him, that he's doing that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we saw the flashcards. We got the left, we got the right, and then we got the middle. So I'm in the middle somewhere. Probably not that big of an angel, but I'm in there somewhere. So anyway, I'm hovering over at Mount Stupid, and I look down, and wow, man, I think everybody's going to be really surprised. I saw something I thought I'd never seen. Eric and Barry, they're really making some headway. They stopped actually trolling themselves and other people for a moment, and Barry says to Eric, Eric, could you make love to Linda and think about me, and we could get out of this? And Eric says, Barry, could you make love to Linda and think about me? We could get out of this. And Linda says, man, could you two just make love and think about me? We could all three get out of this, because remember I said they had to all make love, and that's what they did. Eric and Barry conceded, made love, jumped, and they're a little minds. So I sent them over to South Carolina where same-sex marriage could happen. They got married, and they're back, and they're doing good now. I like to think that we haven't got this work that we're like, if you're doing better, you only get like half of Fitzgerald and just half of the great people that Trump said, over at from Charlottesville. So right now they're like half and half. But, I don't want to be the judge of this. I want all the listeners to be a judge of this. Now, now Bill and Maggie, who's done a really good job, they've gotten themselves in no more trouble. They're probably going to be off, Let's just consider them off. What do you think?
That works for me.
Let's do it. Let's consider them off. So now it's just the four of us. Remember, I'm up there too, till I get myself off. But I'm up there in a good way, okay? I'm doing good things. All right, so I want the people, either this week or next week, tell me what you think. Should they be off or not be off? And then we'll go from there, okay?
There we go.
Is that fair?
That's cool. Everybody can just comment here.
Yeah. Should they be off? Remember what they did, too. Now, they made Sabrina cry, and there's her baby cried, Gunner, and she had to call me and ask them to make them stop this. And again, that's trolling. What does everyone think? Is that fair to troll? I mean, I didn't do anything to stop it or ask them to stop, because they're both all grown, but they did make her cry after she had done so much for them too, like sent them food. She sent Barry Jewish food, sent Eric food, cigarettes, laptop, just really nice to them. Never met them, you know what I mean? Just try to be nice to them. And again, so everybody take all that in consideration, and we'll tally the votes either this week or next week, and we'll make our decision on it.
Deal. Okay. Youssef has a question for you.
All right.
Hey, folks, I have a question for Sid. What are your thoughts on Rick Rude, and have you ever been in the ring with him?
I don't. I've did some road trips with him. Really funny guy. His favorite saying was, I'll drop him like a bag of shit. That was his favorite saying. He wanted to hit everybody. Really funny guy, but nice guy. But I know we worked somewhere together, because I remember one time doing interviews in the interview room together, and I was doing them against him, and he was doing them against me. And he just got to the point, and man, if you're in an interview room with me, you're unarmed, and I was eating him alive, because I got to go last too, so that was sort of the cool thing. So it got worse. So he was like, Sid Vicious, I'm coming to your house. I'm gonna kick your Dobermans in the teeth. I'm gonna make love to your old lady. I was like, so, but no, he's a really cool guy. But I'm sure I've worked with him. I just can't remember it.
Okay, here's one from Andrew too. He said, this is Andrew Clizet. Sid had one of the best gym ethics out of all other wrestlers. It was quoted by many other wrestlers and admired.
Yeah, I think so. I think anyone ever worked out with me would tell you that. Danny Spivey, that was probably the first person really we worked out a whole lot together. He really made some really good gains. I think he always told me that. Of course, Carl, Bob Holly, Billy Gunn, Bart Gunn. I can't remember his last name. Bart. I killed the Techno Turds one time. That was Eric Watts, and whatever his buddy's name was. We did legs one time. Literally was just falling down in the airport. Their legs were just shot. Killed Vince once in the gym too. Jerry Tootie, the Wall. We did legs one time in Minneapolis. He's passed away. Hey, really super nice guy. We did legs one time, and I think he threw up 2 or 3 times on the way to the show that night. I'm telling you, what happens is when you work someone till they throw up, throwing up is the defense mechanism to tell your body, stop this. And then if you do it afterwards that much, that means you really overdid it, So
yeah, your body's like, you're thrown up. You can't exercise.
no, that's the thing is, man, I made so many people throw up. There was one guy, he's still around. His name is Chris West, legitimate 650, I don't know, maybe 700-pound bench presser, just super strong, really strong legs too, but not quite as strong as I was, and then still not conditioned. And he was one of those people that would split up his workouts to just leg presses and just lunges, where I do squats and hack squats and blah blah, knee extension, leg curls. But we just did leg presses and lunges, and we didn't get to the one set of lunges. And him and this guy named Ron Reagan and Chris Swift were both throwing up simultaneously in buckets next to us. And I said, guys, I think y'all need to quit.
Yeah, time to stop.
So that was an all the time occurrence.
I got 3 in a row from Joel here. Joel Bateman. He says, I'm a Chicago Bears fan. But then he says, I want to be a professional wrestler. I work out 6 days a week for 2 hours per day and love working out a lot. Is that too much, or is that
how much is it? 2 hours a day every day?
That's
not, I don't know. I'm looking at your head, man. It looks like you're older. This is the thing is, I was talking to this guy who's won Mr. Tennessee, and people I know about working out. It all depends what your age you are. If you're young enough, it all depends if you want to be a wrestler or a bodybuilder. That many minutes in the gym is not that bad. I could, man, have a lot more hours in the gym or in fitness in a day. Sometimes I'd work out for 2 hours, run for 2 hours, and work out again for 2 hours. I never overtrained. I just overate. And if you don't undereat, you're probably not overtraining.
Mm-hmm. Never.
And it all depends how old you are too.
Sid should go work for WWE training for the wrestlers on conditioning. I'd love to see how many of them he could make throw up every week.
That's not a hard deal. Just keep someone in one spot until tell them to do free squats, and they'll finally throw up. What they need there, instead of someone teaching them conditioning, it seems like they have that, is teach someone how to get over. That's what they need. Hey, real quick, I want someone's opinion on who do they think's winning right now, AEW or the WWE? When you look at that product, what do you think, and what is it saying to you?
That's a good question. Very good question.
And I'll tell you what, since while we're waiting for people to answer. One time there's a guy in AEW. He's managed by Jake Roberts. I can't think of his name. Jack something. A big guy. I met him in Wichita, Kansas. They're doing a show under a group called World Class. Really got a chance to do something there. But I remember him in Wichita telling me and everybody sitting in the dressing room what was going on, that how Vince had got this deal with Fox and AEW company. I thought I hadn't heard any of that. I thought, this guy's so full of shit. Man, he knew everything that was going on. And he really did call that to a T. And I'm sure a lot of it was out there. But things he was saying was like things that would probably happen when some of these things did happen. And he was lucky enough to get a job at one of them. The only thing is, we were talking about AEW, I think a little bit last show, was where, they're starting to show, signs of making, wrong decisions, that might not keep them there for a while. Now, what would happen, to all those guys there if they were to shut down? You think they're all going to have a job the next day working with Vince?
I think it would depend on contracts, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it'd be just like with when WCW folded. I think they took like 1/10 of the talent or something.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. He's not going to want it, And this isn't, again, there's not enough there, to say show their reruns. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. So this is the thing is, and I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do. If you're working there, man, do your job. Try to do the right things. If everyone does the right things, that place might stay around a little bit. If not, it's going to be tough. And a lot of those people, if they are asked, to come back to the WWE, they're going to be on the whipping post. And I've told the story about the whipping post and how many people can survive that. I only know of one. So that's a tough deal to look forward to.
I think Ryan here kind of summed it up. Ryan Haskell. AEW is fun. They're beating NXT, but not the main programs. WWE
Right.
is boring and no big draw, especially with no Brock.
See, I didn't know Brock wasn't there. That's good information to know. No, without him, I think that's it. And for him too, I don't know what the deal is. They look like they're always not using him to his potential. No, I don't know. Can he not do his own interviews?
He doesn't do them much, does he?
He didn't do them at all. Paul Heyman was doing them.
Yeah.
And not to cut you off. Here's something that's, when I see what happened there, it says to me, Paul Heyman was asked to come into creative control, help create. Didn't work out. Now he's back to managing, not just managing Brock Lesnar. He's just managing less than. And you know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. But when you see that, that's that could suggest several things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Where is the other one here?
Well, one is to say this, take the steam, heat, or whatever shine that Paul has from Brock and give it, spread it to some other people. That doesn't hurt Brock or anything, but that usually says, okay, hey, this thing's not going in the same direction it was.
Where is it? Neber commented, and I'm just trying to bring it up. What's the product saying to me? They need Sid.
Well, that would always help. The
Yeah.
thing is, actually, I had an idea to do something to where I really could create what the people would perceive as me. Of course, we never got it, got them to take a look at it. But no, they need some stuff. They need somebody who's creative. Not that they don't. I don't know what's going on there. But they need to have some talent get over. Their talent can work. Their talent's in good shape. Just not all of them look what people would like to think is so much like, man, I want to look up to that person. This is, again, sort of corny, but this is how it's got to be. You got to look up to these people, even if they're only 6 foot tall. They got to come across to you as that they're bigger than life. And I used to joke around with people in the gym. I used to scare people like this. But I tell people this, you know what? When we're in this gym, even when I'm sitting down, you have to look up to me. And a real way, too, that was like that in the wrestling business. I really felt like that, too. And that's why I think a lot of approach we have to as competitors and stuff like that. We are better. If we're not trying. But again, I think they need somebody to help someone say, okay, this person get over. Just like the story with Derrick Henry. I can look at that kid and say, okay, let's go with him. And if you want to go with some of the long haul, that's a really good sign. I can do that. I haven't seen any wrestlers other than really Brock, and that's an easy call. The other big guy, I liked Bray Wyatt. I like the interview stuff he does and this stuff. His work is really good. I just think they've done so much weird stuff with him. Here it is. I don't know. And that's what happens when you run out of ideas. You've got one person really getting over. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just use him up. And that's part of the machine, but you got to stop, reload, recycle, and trying to catch your breath.
Well, here's what Andrew said about WWE. WWE is a monopoly and has been since 2001. UFC shows it can be done, but it has to be a unique opportunity. It's always going to be about money, a bit like England Premier League football. Yeah,
well, wrestling's like football. I mean, like anything, it's all about money. It has monopolized everything, and because of that, it's probably has. It's slowed down the talent gate of people to get there. It's just not there anymore. Again, if you only got, I don't even know of any really good independent places anymore. I don't hear of it. You hear about it, but you don't hear anything coming out of there. I remember, 25 years ago, it sounds old now, but when I do independent shops, you'd see, wow, I'd see this guy and go, wow, this guy's got a future. Never see him show up anywhere. Meaning those guys somehow didn't get through the system. They're and it's hard to get through the system too. If you, I go back thinking about Harlem Heat for a second. I was lucky on the two of those guys. Being able to look at them, see if they had a chance and get them through. If I had the chance of really been more insertive in their career, they would have done even better. I think, but they both did really well. Again, there's a good example. If I got an eye for stuff like that, and then I think too, I told everyone that years ago I tried to hire the kid too. I thought he was the best small talent I'd ever saw, and to enough that even being small, he could draw money in the right circumstance.
Dean says, obviously WWE will be winning as they've got much more strength and depth with Raw and SmackDown too, as well as NXT. Give AEW time to strengthen the roster and expand. The WWE's misuse of a lot of guys, and Tony Khan will use them to their full potential.
Misuse of a lot of guys and Tony. Yeah, I don't know about that Tony Khan. I just heard a lot of stupid stuff about him. He might get on Mountain Stupid too. Again, we have a tendency to point fingers like that. Used to, you could point fingers at him, but really should be pointing up above him. He's just doing what he's told, Nobody making that many mistakes on their own there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That revolving door again, Paulie in and out. Everyone else is sort of signed up, signed out.
There's never again. So I'm right then. They need Sid. Sid working with someone like Karrion Kross or Braun Strowman as a ringside mentor would have everyone shitting themselves.
This is the thing is, I would ringside mentor. I think it might help a little bit because people might remember me, something like that. But I need to be there with them every night. See the reaction of the fans, be able to change, just critique this or that. Sometimes just how to stop. Maybe be act a little faster, exaggerate a little bit more. When you're working with someone like that in the house shows too, you can tell work with little things like I used to work on. They use it all the time, but it doesn't seem to work. When a heel walks away, then comes back, you don't do that where you say this is where if you had a finish that was a count out or DQ, then you maybe jump the baby face back, you got a little heat, then him get the best of it, and you get out and go, I'll be back in there. Then he tells you what, the baby face says one more time, for 5 minutes, and you go, no, you walk away, everybody goes, loser, and then you turn around and like make that step back. When you start feeling those kind of things, it's like, okay, that's a step. Like we're fixing to start drawing money, or we're one step closer. You know what I mean? If you can absorb that kind of knowledge, that's something you just don't see. They use that one spot more overused, and I'll talk about it. It's the most overused spot. That's their greatest form of achieving heat on someone. And I don't believe you do that on TV. You do that in house shows. Where the people, you program the house shows that way. If that match comes back with a finish, the people go, I remember that. I want to see that guy really get back in the ring. They do not do that enough. And I know they don't. They just go about finishes and leave. They don't think about what's coming back. You got to do those little things like that.
Nice.
That's a heel biz.
Let's grab a couple more here. Ryan Haskell said he needs to watch AEW this week and watch Jericho and MJF. They do a musical segment. It's dividing the fans, but he'd love your opinion.
I would. I miss Wednesday. I try to watch AEW just because it's new, just to see some of them what's going on with the. I don't know. Just it's new. It's not scripted. I like to see a mistake once in a while. They're really working their asses off. There's no doubt about that. I think we talked about with Cody Rhodes. It's just I think he might be just trying too hard. You can't. Again, you can't, and this is a heel biz, you can't resell those tickets, making that change, changing that belt, getting that much color, not taking, advantage of it. Again, I'm hoping it's just you're trying really hard.
Okay, here we go. Last one. This one's from Lori again. Sid, I have a question about your leg injury. We always hear a lot about the physical healing of injuries, but how did you handle the mental, psychological aspect of the healing process? And what advice would you give to others? It seems with everything going on in our world right now, we never hear enough about the mental health aspect of things.
Well, Lori, that's a really good that's a good question. It's something to talk about. That was probably the hardest thing I went through. I think I told the story. One is I was thinking I was learning how to run again, and then I won't go into all of it. Just try, not really getting anywhere. And then finally getting to the doctor one day. He says he noticed I'm suffering about depression. Sends me to the psychiatrist real quick. I mean, straight from his office. Long story short, I saw the guy. He was staring at his office at me. I came in and he goes, "Hey, what's the problem?" I said, "You're fat." I said, "But I said I didn't call you fat." I said, "I could have called you fat." Look, anyway, that story. But I was suffering from that for a long time. What it was is finally said, "When am I going to run?" And they said, "Well, you're never going to run again." Man, that was a big deal to me. I was running I woke up so many nights dreaming I used to be able to do this run and sprint so hard that the sweat would hit my chest as I was running. You imagine waking up feeling that? I could really feel that hit my chest, wake up and knowing that wasn't going to happen anymore. So it was tough getting through that. Still is, but what you do is just you don't feel sorry for yourself. You just get up and make you some chicken noodle soup and keep going.
Lots of chicken noodle soup.
A lot of chicken noodle soup.
Okay, and I think we can finally share with everybody your shirt. Neber sent a picture, but I couldn't download it, so I'm going to share the screen. There we go, JWO, and there is a picture of you with DDP and Scott Hall.
All right.
All wearing that shirt. But yeah.
Now I'm gonna put this on sale or auction oh shoot, I'm so tired. With Rocky.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Virtual Asylum.
Virtual Asylum. That's it. Yeah.
Check in there because that's a wicked thing. Cool.
Yeah, so we got that, and I got the DVD of that little 15-minute short I did about independent wrestling called The Promotion.
Okay.
We're going to try to get that out too.
Very nice.
Anybody's interested in getting in touch with Rocky through what was that again? Soul Asylum?
Virtual Asylum.
Virtual Asylum.
Yeah. Look that up on Facebook. Apparently there's going to be some good stuff coming up there.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember, everybody can beat their demons, right, Sid?
That's it, man.
I'm going to whoop fruit juice. All right. Well, I guess that's it for another episode.
That sounds good, man.
All right. We will see everybody later.
Good.
You've been listening to the Vicious Circle Podcast. Your host, Sid Udi. Co-host, Rob Bellamy. Additional research by Pete Marsh. The Vicious Circle Podcast is produced by Two Cousin Road Trip Productions, a division of JX3 Media Productions. The intro music is Unleash the Giants by Cemetery Spawn, and the outro music is Digging Space by Mike Treblecott.